Basically, the approach would have started in a discussion with Dr. Frank Ward, who's president of the local Distillers Association. And we basically were having a discussion about recognizing that rum is the largest export product from Barbados. And basically, the BIDC examining ways of promoting development of the industry. The RUMS of Barbados was conceptualized firstly to look at a geographical indicator. But having recognized that, we had to look at building of a brand that was to become part of a GI at a later date. And of course, the promotional aspect and marketing involved in building the brand would have evolved into what we call the RUMS of Barbados program. Well, basically, a geographical indicator is a mark or a brand that's recognized as to be associated with a particular country or area, particular geographical location. And in the Caribbean, we have not utilized what a country brand could, or branding of a geographical indicator could do for marketing of a product. But I think if we can think of good examples, Jamaica have done so with Jamaica Blue Mountain Coffee. They recently initiated a program to promote Jamaica rums. And we can think of tequila, we can think of champagne, we can think of Scotch whiskey coming from Scotland, and the understanding of the quality that comes with the collective effort and the collective standard that is representative of the country. So we thought that Barbados, or using the name Barbados, could be employed to promote our major product, which is rum. So we thought we would pursue a geographical indicator. Not only is it good for promotion, but also in, of course, legal defense. You would have established a brand that's unchallengeable, and of course a collective brand. And there are tremendous benefits to be gleaned from this type of effort. I mean, automatically we could think of what happens with champagne. Think of the exclusivity, think of the collective standard that comes with that when we say champagne. And we thought that Barbados could lend its name to benefit our major product.
My name is Michelle Smith-Mears. I work at the Barbados Hotel and Tourism Association, and I am the coordinator of the Barbados Culinary team. Well, we've always held a bartender competition. It was normally done in conjunction with the chef competition, so they were running concurrently. But you know, the chefs always overshadow bartenders because the chefs are so technical and they take a longer time. So this year we thought we would give the bartenders more exposure. We do a chef and bartender competition every 2 years, so that we choose a team, and then we choose a team that goes into competition for that year, and then we choose a team that mirrors that team. The first team that goes in for the first year of international competition after the local competition, it comprises of the best people of the lot that we trained. And the second group that are mirroring that team would go to competition, see what is happening, get more comfortable, and then they become the competitors the year following. So the persons from this bartender competition will go to the 214 competition, and the person that runner-ups to them would do the 215 competition, and then we would have a competition in 215 again. I think that this year, merging with the Mastermixer competition and the RUMS of Barbados brand gives the bartenders more exposure. Before like I said, the bartender competition was something that friends and family came to, but now the whole of Barbados gets to see what our bartenders are capable of. And we really are happy to partner with Mastermixer and to partner with RUMS of Barbados to bring this to Barbados and whoever is watching it in the Caribbean. It also puts the bartenders under a little bit more pressure, gets them ready for competition, because in international competition, you don't only have a few judges or your friends and family, there's a whole room of strangers watching you, strangers that are supporting other people also, so it breaks them out of their comfort zone.
Hi, my name is Jamal Boyne. I'm the resident mixologist at the Sign Lane Hotel. Making a cocktail at Sign Lane and making a cocktail in competition is the variables. Obviously, when you're talking about mixing cocktails for work, you're talking about being fast-paced, you're talking about being efficient, you're also talking about being creative on the spot. Whereas in competition, you have to be well trained, you have to practice, and you have a more detailed outlook on the cocktail when you're preparing it.
A good cocktail is one that is balanced, but first it must taste good. People taste food and drink with their senses. So a cocktail that first looks good, and it doesn't have to be an elaborate garnish, the color could be enticing, then it must smell good. You know, when you put it to your mouth and you're ready to taste it, it must not smell offensive, because then you're not going to want to taste it. And then it must taste good, and it must be balanced. So you must not have one ingredient overpowering another ingredient, and it must be smooth on your tongue, and then the aftertaste must not be there. A drink with an aftertaste is not a good drink. So whether it's an aftertaste of pepper or whatever it is, you don't want, you want the drink to go down, but you don't want to remember it. And then it must be palatable for digestion. If you have a drink that gives you indigestion, that's not a good drink either.
Don't let's get too exotic. That is always a problem I find with the bartenders. You know, they tend, oh man, I'm gonna put a little splash of this liqueur and a little splash of that, and that's why the rum. Then it could be any kind of alcohol. You want something that enhances the rum without, you know, completely masking it.
Well, a lot of our bartenders participate in product-sponsored competitions, where the sponsor is really just looking to see how you use their drink. And the judges are not looking necessarily for bar technique, your mixology technique, your hygiene, your bar skills. Not necessarily whether you could flip a shaker, but whether you really know what it is you're doing. They're testing to see whether their product is really good in this particular drink. A bartender competition is about the drink and the bartender. So that is why in this competition, you know, they might feel intimidated, but you do have to have the judges up there actually looking at you, asking you questions, trying to understand, why did you use this rum as opposed to another rum? Why did you put lime juice in it? Why are you not measuring? Why are you free pouring? All of those things you'll hear the judges asking them. And that's because we are choosing a bartender who will represent Barbados, not only in international competitions, but also for promotional reasons. When we do food festivals overseas, when we do food festivals here in Barbados, if we do any food promotions to promote Barbados, this is the bartender that will represent. This bartender also needs to be able to come up with drinks that is per the moment, or come up with a drink in a store and tell people why they're using it and what is good in this drink and why is it good. So we need a different level of bartender coming out of this competition.
To win this Master Mixer competition, you would have to be very charismatic, because this is not just a cocktail competition, this is a bartender competition. So we're looking for the most compatible person who can really be creative, really mix cocktails, and be charismatic behind the bar, as well as taking charge of the bar in the means of being comfortable and being astute in what you're doing.
Barbados is the birthplace of rum. So I think that our bartenders must know about rum and how to put it in drinks and how to help people to drink rum responsibly. Rum is not something that people kind of say rum drinkers fall along and get drunk. Rum is something to be savored. And we have so many rums across the number of rum producers in Barbados. Some of them cannot be mixed. Some of them are high-end brands, premium brands that need not to be mixed like a brandy. You shouldn't mix a brandy with Coke. There's some rums that are not mixable. But when a bartender uses a rum in a drink, he is using it not to hide the rum or to mask it, but whatever flavors he or she adds must highlight the rum and make it much better. And for some people who can't stand the raw taste of rum, to make it more palatable. I think that it is important for all of our bartenders to know how to sell rum to people that come to their bar, and to encourage them to drink rum in a responsible way, and in the way that a connoisseur will drink rum, where they savor every note of that particular rum.
Well, first of all, the name rum would have come from rum bouillon, which was thought to have originated in Barbados. The first known documents would have demonstrated that from as early as 1637, rum bullion, now called rum, was a product of Barbados that would have been shipped to the UK, would have been shipped to England. And that's a lot of history, that's a lot of provenance, that's a lot of character. Almost 400 years of the distillation of rum or the manufacture of any product needs to be celebrated, it needs to be recognized. So really, even if you look at the marquee for the RUMS of Barbados project, what it would have celebrated is that not any one particular brand, but collectively, Barbados as a location has been producing rum since 1637. And we want to celebrate this quality, this standard, this collective brand identity to benefit all of the rums that are manufactured here.
Rum as a spirit is a very diverse spirit. I tell this to my guests all the time at work. I tell this to people all around the world whenever I get a chance to. You have a situation where you walk into a store, and you walk into a liquor store, and you have vodka, you've got tequila, you've got gin, you've got whiskey, you've got all these things. Vodka comes in various brands, various flavors. Whiskey is in regular whiskey, single malts. You have tequila, which comes in different ages, different flavors, different aromas. But when you talk about rum, you have white rum, you have dark rum, you have aged rum, you have flavored rum. You also have dark or golden rums. So when you're talking about diversity, it is the most diverse of all the spirits. You have a rum for every single aspect of drinking culture. You have rums where people of the lower class can afford those rums. You have luxury rums where persons are paying up to $500 a shot for a shot of rum. So you have cocktails that need rums that are white rums. Then you have cocktails that need dark rums. So the diversity of rum is an amazing thing, and it is one of the most integral parts of the cocktail culture as well. When you're looking back at the cocktails of yesteryear, and you're talking about the classics, and you're talking about the mojito, you're talking about rum punch, you're talking about things like the daiquiri, these things that were created in the early 1900s. So when you're talking about rum, you're talking about a really diverse spirit.
Collectively, we expect that what we would want to establish is a recognition of the quality and the standard that rums that are manufactured in Barbados. We want to establish a brand standard. In other words, what does this stand for? If I say to you, a Scotch whiskey versus another type of whiskey, you understand what the name Scotland brings to the table. And what we want to portray is an understanding of what the name Barbados brings to the table in terms of a collective brand standard. In terms of quality, you could be comfortable in selecting a rum that comes from Barbados because we have had a tradition, and the blending of rum is a mixture between a science and an art. It is a creative endeavor, and it's not something that you can write out in the manual. So this collective tradition of the blending of rum has been passed down from generation to generation, and I believe the master blenders are being trained at the particular distilleries, and collectively, I think what we would have established is a history of a certain quality product.
In your hotel, do the barman try to tell a tourist, you're in Barbados, you drink rum, If a tourist comes in and says, have you got scotch? Sure, but you're in Barbados, and we have the best rum in the world, and therefore, have you tried Barbados rum? Will you try it? No, here are the different ways to do it. A rum cocktail is simple, basic, cheap. Encourage the tourists to drink rum. Is it done? I doubt it.
People in the Caribbean should be pushing rum because rum is a Caribbean thing. Obviously, yes, it started here in Barbados, and we applaud that, and we should be proud of that. So therefore, there's nothing more than giving the guests what they're looking for. You're coming to the Caribbean, it's fun, sun, and then there's rum, So it's not just about coming and lounging and having a cosmopolitan. You could have that in New York if you want. It's not about having a gin and tonic. You can have that in London if you want. But when you're coming to the Caribbean, you need to try something from the Caribbean. Winning Taste of the Caribbean is still one of my proudest achievements. It is one of the most amazing things that could ever happen, especially being the first Barbadian to do it. My winning cocktail would have been Bittersweet Lady. The judges threw in a curveball in our mystery basket. In the mystery basket, you got about 60 ingredients. You have 20 minutes to choose 6 ingredients, after which you have a deliberation process on your own. You come up with a recipe, you come up with a method, and then you have to come up with the cocktail and present it to the judges in 7 minutes. Within the 20-minute period, after 10 minutes were gone, the judges decided that they were going to throw in a curveball, as I said. So they presented us with a range of aged rums from across the Caribbean. And one of the rums that was there was a rum that I'm familiar with, which is from Trinidad and Tobago. And the addition of this rum made it really interesting because I had fresh ingredients like rosemary, I had fresh limes, there was brown sugar as opposed to simple syrup that like what Barbadians are accustomed to. So I had to make a brown sugar syrup beforehand. Then as well I had Angostura bitters and Angostura orange bitters, plus the rum. The 7 minutes that I was given, I created a cocktail called Bittersweet Lady, which was a combination of all these ingredients together. It was basically a combination and a spin-off cocktail. The combination was a rum sour and a rum punch. The spin-off was doing it in a different way than you would usually do the 2 cocktails. So whereas the rum punch is a built drink, the rum sour is a shaken drink, you put those 2 together and you make a really nice drink that has the same flavors as those 2 cocktails, but is presented in a different manner, as well as presenting them with a really nice garnish of caramelized lime with the rosemary stuck onto it.
The person that wins the Master Mix competition there are 2 people that will join the Barbados culinary team. And this is where we teach them to be competition bartenders. It's totally different than anything they've done before. The same thing that we do with a chef. They come to us with who they are, with all their bad habits, etc. And we teach them how to be a competition bartender. So we stress on hygiene, we stress on balance. In competition, you can only use 6 ingredients in your drink. In a lot of the competitions, they can use 12, 13, whatever they feel like. But in competition, you can only use 6. So there's a lot of rules and regulations for competition that they have to get used to. The way that they operate in the bar has to be structured and it has to flow, and they have to get used to timing, and they need to be able to do garnishing and understand what competition is all about. They get to know a lot more about product because the bartender judges will ask them why they're using a particular vodka, or why they're using a particular rum, or whatever it is, and what does this add to the drink. Or if it is a drink that they revisiting drinks that exist and making them new is a trend right now. And they need to know what the trends in bartending is. They need to know how to cost drinks. So there's so many things that they don't have to know now at their level of competition that they do need to know when they get to the higher level. And that's what we do.
The rigorous training that you're going to be going through, basically we go through the concepts, the different types of cocktails that we're going to be making. Obviously, you're not just making a rum cocktail and a non-alcoholic cocktail, we also have to go through vodka cocktails as well. You're looking at getting into using fresh Caribbean products, especially things that are in season at that point in time. You need to learn how to push the envelope in terms of your creativity. You need to be able to just step outside the box for this competition when you're going into Taste the Caribbean.
I am Gina DePaul and I work at Blakey's Restaurant. I picked number 3. I'm kind of excited about it. Pretty much get in there and get it over with. And that's as much as I can do about it. I am bringing originality, a sense of what women will like in cocktails. And I think that's where my specialty comes in. I do it for the ladies. What else?
My name is Antonia Busby. I work at the Cliff. I've pulled number 4. Tomorrow I plan to bring what I believe every bartender is going to bring: creativity, professionalism, a learning experience for everybody. In this competition, there are a lot of people I consider more as my friends, so hopefully it's just going to be a day of good fun, good drinks, and really an educational moment for everybody.
Hi, good evening. My name is Philip Antoine. The ladies call me Nova, Casanova that is. I work at Drift Ocean Terrace Lounge. Well, originally I pulled number 16, but now I'm at number 5. Number 5 I'm actually happy with, you know, that way I get to settle in, get my mind in frame for the competition, and not too late that I become bored or anything, but in a nice position where I can go on and do my best. Well, tomorrow, what can I say? I'm bringing me. I mean, I'm bringing my personality, I'm bringing my flair, like, just be myself, you know, entertaining as usual, be creative, just put all of me into the cocktail, the Caribbean and myself. I'm a Caribbean guy, you know, I'm Vincentian and I'm living here in Barbados. Hey, CSME.
My name is Deborah Stowe and I work at Barbados Hilton Resort. Originally I pulled number 18, but now I've been moved up to number 14. I do not believe in doing the same thing on the same ingredients, so my ingredients will be unusual, however, they will be tasteful in terms of the blending. I have a bit of a culinary arts background, so my, how should I say, form or way in which I make my drinks are more from in terms of more of a what you call scientific perspective as opposed to just putting juices and flavors together.
Of the Master Mix competition, which is currently being staged at the participating hotels, and we have quite a few, about 20 bartenders from some of the major hotels on the island. I wish the bartenders good luck. Really what we want to do is to create some new and exciting rum mixes. Everybody knows about a rum and coke, but we really want to expand the bartender's repertoire of what a rum drink is. And when someone comes to the hotel, we don't want to offer you a gin and tonic. We want really to offer you a rum, and we really want to explore the different variations of the characters of the various rums, whether they're aged for 5 years or aged over 5 years, 10 years and so on, whether they age in oak, whether they age in cherry. Really, we want the bartenders to be able to sell the product and represent the product and introduce the product to their clients. And really coming out of this, we hope we can have some interesting recipes and some interesting mixes that we plan to mount not only on the website, but we plan to create a booklet of these rums, of these rum mixes. So I want to wish everybody good luck, and I look forward to sampling and really having an exciting competition.